What's classy if you're rich but trashy if you're poor? Police escorts. Being really into wine. Living at a hotel. Keeping a bottle of liquor in your office. I feel like all the crazy successful people drink a shit-ton. Lawyers. Entrepreneurs. Not cleaning your own house. Day drinking. Rich folks can have 5 mimosas at lunch and nobody bats an eye. But I bring a 40 for lunch and suddenly I'm fired and a terrible role model for the students. Getting money from the government. Being on a first name basis with a judge. The most expensive thing you own is a really old car. Stealing from the middle class. Having a lawyer's business card in your wallet. Having many pets. The only difference between cat hoarder and animal rescuer is budget. Wearing hoodies, sweats, gym wear to work. Especially in tech. 50 Shades of Grey apparently. Never read the books but saw the memes. It's only acceptable because he's rich. If he lived in a dump it would be a CSI episode. Walking around all day in a bathrobe. Being called Duke. Or Earl. Cheese as a meal. Having other people raise your kids. Showing up to a formal occasion in t-shirt and jeans. That's like mega rich. Day drinking. Rich people collect. Poor people hoard. Having a wedding in your yard. Making your own booze. Rich guy buys fast food. He's just like us. Poor guy buys fast food. He should really make better choices. Wearing vintage clothing instead of hand-me-downs. Work from your boat. If you're poor and sleep with your cousin you're a redneck, but if you're rich. Demanding free tea. Eating snails. Till my cat is rich. Any sort of animal print. Not working a real job. What do you mean being a social media coordinator for my dad's textile sales firm isn't a real job? Methodica, I had to do cocaine for 4 years in college for this. Edit. I feel like I should add that this post is 100% facetious. The fact that people think I'm being serious or might even know me is ducking troubling. Having your clothes be worn out. Filing for bankruptcy. Having fake teeth. I see so many celebrities with those fake ass implants that are going to destroy their jaw bones in a decade, but have a legitimate dental problem that results in missing teeth and you can't even get a job anymore. Oh, and dental insurance doesn't usually cover it either because it's considered cosmetic. Like getting to chew your food is somehow a style choice. Florida. Edit. Holy shit, thanks guys. Somewhat related. Part of my career was as a welfare caseworker. I always thought it strange that society expected middle upper class women to stay home and raise the kids but expected poor mothers to find a job. Having a bunch of kids. Having a barren house. If you're rich, it's called minimalism. If you're poor, it's not being able to afford furniture. Edit. I'd like to clarify. I don't think that sparsely decorated houses are classy or trashy. I'm just pointing out that that's the mentality I see a lot of people have. Looking homeless. Getting away from it all. Clothes with holes in them. Apparently. Party where everyone dresses in white. Living car-free. As I discovered recently, if you're rich, you're considered a socially woke and ecologically conscious person. If you're poor, you're considered a drag on society because your life is dictated by what you can get to on a bike or via public transit. And when I'm white and relatively well educated, but I'm poor AF, so when my vehicle recently developed a structural problem that couldn't be fixed and it had to be junked, I couldn't get a replacement. People who look like me have been striking up conversations on the bus about why I chose to live a low-carbon lifestyle. Their reactions when I tell the truth are horror, and to quickly end the conversation, People who don't look like me ignore me until they hear why I'm there. Then they are much friendlier. Not working a day in your life. Substance abuse. Rich people are troubled whereas poor people are just junkies. Matte black cars. If it's on a luxury car it looks badass. If it's on your 2001 Honda Civic, it looks like you spray painted your car. Edit. That's because they did. Trying to avoid paying taxes. Sculptures, statues in front of your house. If you are weird and rich people just call you eccentric. But if you are weird and poor people call you crazy. $250,000 tiny house. Classy. $25,000 mobile home. Trashy. I get so annoyed at tiny house culture. If the lifestyle of minimizing your space and possessions to better enjoy other aspects of life was really the point, you'd be buying a ducking trailer. But no, that's trashy. We must have our farmhouse sink, artificially weathered and heated wood flooring, and second floor veranda. Posting this question every 8 ducking hours, bitching about it. This will probably not be seen, but why is no one mentioning buying high-end designer bags, belts, wallets? I see so many people bragging about buying $1,000 Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci things while driving a car with 3 spares and complaining about rent. IDK if it's an unpopular opinion, but I feel like one of the trashiest things you can do is brag about buying super expensive things while living paycheck to paycheck. When I was younger I would show off expensive things because my parents bought them for me. But now that I'm an adult living paycheck to paycheck I cringe at myself for that behavior and silently judge people like my sister that still lives at home but insists on getting $500 plus purses and belts etc. I get that it's a status thing but it's just all a lie. Having extensions, weave wigs. Having a horse. Nah. Horses are just for the rich nowadays. If you need to get somewhere, a car is much cheaper. I feel like when you have a nice car and you're bustin' Lloyd music it's alright. But when you do it in a poor car it's being looked down on. Don't care if you are in a Bentley or a hoopty. I don't wanna hear your music. Naming your kid after a designer or some other stupid name. Historically, eating lobsters. House decor featuring nudity. Expecting free stuff everywhere you go. Biking or using public transport instead of taking your car. 18-year-old girlfriend at 45. Johnny Depp's looks. Owning a Rolex. Marrying cousins. Having an affair if you're rich. Cheating with a side hoe if you're poor. Having an affair is middle class. The rich keep a mistress. Being a stay-at-home parent. When you're poor, you're a bad mother if you don't work to support your kids. When you're rich or middle class, you're a bad mum if you don't stay home with the kids. You don't know your credit score. Smoking. Receiving money you didn't work for and indulging in hedonistic pleasures. Breast implants. Asking for money. When you're poor it's begging. When you're rich, it's a fundraiser. Fish tanks. IDK how to describe it really. Fish tanks at a poor person house just seem bad. But in a nice house, they just add some class to the house. Cocaine. Taking a mental health day from work. This is classy regardless whether you're rich or poor. Felonies. Being a white mum and having a black kid. Wearing pink. I literally look like a pink trash while a rich someone else wearing the same thing will look like a fashionista. Edit. Thank you kind stranger for the silver. My first silver. Feeling incredibly proud. Outdoor furniture. Stealing. Shopping at Goodwill. Owning 8 cars but you only drive 1. Dropping out of school. Hitting on women. Everything. track pants, cocaine. In America, speaking another language, hosting a wedding at your house, not paying taxes, banging your nanny. For rich people, that's who keeps your kids, but for poor people it's your grandma. Eating ass. Mercedes. If you're rich, it's your car. If you're poor, it's your kid. Taking time out for your mental health. Having a romantic or sexual relationship with a massive age gap. Reading this irked me. It's kind of sad how everything becomes classier if you're rich. Sneakers with a suit. Being eccentric versus crazy. Keeping the bloodline pure. Spending Christmas at the community soup kitchen. Tiny home if you're rich. Having a lot of kids. New York and San Francisco. Having a unique name. Caviar. My grandfather was in the Royal Engineers. He was in a flying column that captured a train containing the personal baggage of General Manstein. Most of the troops were Scotsmen from the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. They went through the general's wagon car and found some tins of caviar amongst other luxury foodstuffs. It was suggested that this should be reserved for the officers' mess, but my grandfather, who was a colonel, said, "No, no, let it be distributed amongst the men," and went off feeling very democratic and noble. Next day, he was informed there was some grumbling amongst the other ranks, so he rounded up the sergeants and asked what the problem was. Apparently, they thought the officers had been handing them rotten food. "Look at this," saw one said, showing an open tin of caviar. "This jam tastes of fush." Being Republican. Family problems. Fancy nails. Rich ladies, it's beautiful, artsy and self-care. Poor ladies, it's ghetto or trashy. Most rich ladies pull inspiration from the people they'd call trashy. Living off taxpayer money. If you're rich and unemployed, you're a free spirit, but if you're broke and unemployed, you're a lazy bum. Example. Declan feels like a traditional job would weigh him down. He's in the prime of his youth and wants to explore the world and make connections. Chet groaned as he realized he had to go to his weekly job seeker's appointment if he wanted to keep receiving his unemployment benefits. Edit. Pointing out the privilege of the rich really ruffled some feathers. Theft. Apparently, nobody seems to care when the rich steal millions. But you steal one television. Goose liver? Fish eggs? Where's the goose? Where's the fish? I think being cheap. If someone is cheap and drives an old Toyota, but is rich, you hear people whispering about so and so being rich and how he's so humble and lives a double life of mystery, pretending to understand the psyche of the rich person. But if it's a poor person driving an old beat up car and penny pinching, then they are just boring and no fun to be around. Drinking alcohol in a swimming pool. Rich people sip champagne on pool floaties with sunglasses and big hats. Poor people chug beers, crush the cans and drop them on the grass around the pool because the pool is only 2 feet deep and supplied via garden hose. Coke. Pretty sure Diet Coke, registered sign, is for everyone. Plowing prostitutes. I have an image in my head right now of a snowplow clearing the streets of hookers. Asking your father for a small loan of $1 million to get on your feet in life. Lol. OMFG. Orange man bad. Dude. Might be a tad late, but layered clothing. Smoking recreational drugs, alcohol, ripped or torn jeans. Facial hair. Fur coats. Nudity. Having a lot of ex-husbands or ex-wives. Incest. Crosses. I've been on both type, and let me tell you, the poor trying to keep up with the Jones stick out like sore thumbs. I've honestly never seen a genuinely rich person go on a cruise. Everything. That's what class is. Gold-toned furniture. Being an alcoholic. Quirky names like Spade, Chicago and Royal. That's okay if you are rich. They can pass it on as eccentric choice, but if you are poor, people will think your folks are trashy uneducated people. I think I've said his before, but they're roots if you're broke. It's balayage if you're rich.